Hi bro, so welcome to Collective Bro online classes. So in this class of current affairs, we will be discussing about the Indo-US trade relations. Okay, so let's analyze the Indo-US trade relation. So why this is in news? In recent times, the US has revoked the duty-free import of the 50 Indian items. So because of this, the Indo-US relation has got a current relevance and is being in news. So, before getting into the news analysis, let's take a model mains question and analysis it in the perspective of the current news. So, the question asks us that the Indo US relation in the contemporary times is based on the mutual trust and cooperation. In the light of this statement, critically analyze the prospects of the Indo US relation. So, this question is not specific to the US trade, it includes a wide varieties of the topics which is defense partnership is there, then there is trade relation is there, then there is security cooperation is there, and there is the cooperation in the fields of environment, ecology, then sustainable development, etc. So the question is a holistic one which asks us to analyze the Indo-US relation based on the contemporary developments. So there is development in the defense field, there is development in the trade field, there is development in the cooperation in the fields of security, especially in cases of the Afghanistan, etc. And there is cooperation in the field of the environment and ecology and the issues of the sustainable development goals. So we have to analyze the topics in all of this perspective. So when it comes to the trade relation, you can quote the current examples or the current relevance of the Indo-US relation from this perspective. So that's how this news become relevant when you are answering a mains question. And the last part of the question asks us to analyze the prospects of the Indo-US relation. So in order to analyze the prospects of the Indo-US relation, we have to analyze to where the present policies of the India and the US when it comes to this policies or when it comes to this areas is leading us to. So this policy of the US, that is revoking the duty of the 50 Indian items, is not considered as a right move. So which is impacting the trust and the cooperation between the Indo-US trade relation. So the prospects of the Indo-US relation is under threat or is facing some kinds of challenges. So when we are analyzing this news, you can easily answer this question and you can frame your own way of forward with required suggestions. So let's get into the news analysis. So here, before getting into the analysis, let's analyze that volume of the Indo and US trade. So here, the India has exported approximately 41.99 billion into US in 2016, and India has imported goods worth 20.39 billion, which means there is a trade surplus which is approximately 21 billion dollar for India. So India is benefiting out of the trade with US. And apart from that, the US is one of the largest trade partner for India. So whenever there arises an issue between Indo and US, it will be having a severe impact on the India-US relation and the India-US trade, which constitute a major chunk of India's trade volume. Now let's get into the issue part. So the issue, as we have mentioned, the US has revoked the duty-free concession on import of at least 50 Indian products, and mostly of them are from handloom sector and the agricultural sector. We know that the handloom and the agricultural sector are considered as MSME sector in India. So this agricultural sector is not directly the agricultural product, but the products derived from the agricultural goods. Okay, now let's come to the second point. Of the 90 products which US has subject, or this 19 products on which the US has taken away this duty free concession, is under the generalized system of preferences. So out of this 90 products, 50 of them are Indian products, or 50 of these products are being exported from India. Now let's come to this point, that is the generalized system of preferences. So what is this? So before analyzing this, let me inform you that we are providing the current affairs video analysis and the PDF for the video analysis is there. You can download the this present slides from the website, and apart from that there is a detailed analysis of each current topics that you can download from the our website collectorbro.com. So this too you can get from the YouTube. To get the detailed analysis of the each and every news, please register with us in the collectorbro.com. Then you can get the detailed analysis of the each newspaper. Now let's come back to this generalized system of preferences. So this generalized system of preferences is a liberalized trade program that is given by the US. So under this generalized system of preferences, the US is giving a zero or a low import duty for the poor and the developing countries. So this generalized system of preference program of the US has been considered as a commitment of the US towards the development of the poor and the developing countries. And apart from that, this generalized system of preferences is contrary or is an out of box approach of the US from the World Trade Organization MFN status, which is the most favored nation status. So the generalized system of preference is not in concurrence with the most favored nation status. So this most favored nation status or this provision require to treat each and every country on the same line, but the generalized system of preferences giving more consideration to the developing and the poor countries. Okay, so hope the idea is clear. Now coming to the issue part, that is the presidential proclamation said that certain de minimis waiver will no longer be granted for any product regardless of the country source that exceeds the generalized system of preferences, that is competitive need limitation threshold. So this competitive need threshold limitation or this CNL is part of this generalized system of preferences, and the CNL thresholds are quantitative ceilings, which means based on the quantity and country specific, the US has given some kinds of concessions, and that is known as this competitive need limitation. Now let's analyze the US policy or its impact on India. So before getting into that, let's analyze the trade of the Indo-US relation. Approximately 29% of the trade between India and US is the diamond and the precious stones. The next comes the 25%, which is the textiles. So this recent ban or the recent policy of the US on the generalized system of preferences is going to impact this textile sector, which approximately constitute 25% of the Indo-US trade relation. So this policy of the US is going to have a serious impact on the India, even though it doesn't constitute a major chunk of the US trade. It constitutes a considerable trade of the India or the considerable chunk of the Indian trade volume, but it doesn't constitute a major chunk of the trade volume of the US. So US is not having a severe impact by this, but India will be having a severe impact because of this. And with this policy of the US, the exports has become costly and difficult because till now this products has enjoyed a duty free entry, and now they have to give an import duty, which means the export to US has become costly and more difficult. Now let's analyze that. With India being the largest beneficiary of this generalized system of preference, it has been hit the most by the latest decision of the Trump administration. Then the adverse impact on the small and the medium sized business, particularly the handloom and the agricultural sector. So we have already discussed that this handloom and the agricultural sector that comes under this medium and the small industries. So once this generalized system of preferences is taken away, the MSME sector is going to hit or is being going to impacted the worst in India. Okay, now let's analyze the impact of this policy on the US. That is, it would cause a significant distress to the export oriented sector, leading to increased cost for US industries that use products under the GSP. So let me analyze this point. That is, from India, there have been certain products that is being exported to US, and most of these products, that is, we are analyzing it in the perspective of this US trade or the US policy, that is the products that comes under this generalized system of preference, which includes the handloom and the agricultural products, and these products are either raw materials or the intermediaries. So once this raw materials or the intermediaries has become costlier because of the policy of the US, then the companies in the US which is using this raw materials to produce a final goods will be impacted. So that's what the statement is saying. That is, this policy of the US is also going to have an adverse impact on the US itself. So hope the idea is clear. So as we have mentioned earlier, when you give a final statement or when you framing a way forward in the mains question that we have given earlier, you can use this all points. That is, this policy of the US is not going to benefit either India or the US, and both of these countries will have serious adverse impact because of this. And if India is retaliating with the same way, that is imposing some kinds of trade restrictions or imposing some kinds of trade regulations, it is going to distort the trade relations between India and US. So you can frame the answers in this way and you can frame a balanced way forward. So that's all. Thank you. Thanks for watching this video.